I gotta say is Mom is classy.
Yeah.
You know?
We try. So I'm going to explain the tickets to you real quick.
Oh.
Officer Greendeck will do the same too, but
Don't even bother. I'm gonna cry about them later.
let me just explain them to
I
you real
will
quick.
cry about them later.
There's two tickets there because there's a court date, so I have to tell you.
Hey, motherfucker, I know you.
Yeah?
Get ready to experience a wild ride through a truly unforgettable run-in with the law enforcement in today's video. The lines between humor and seriousness are blurred in this tale, as one woman's night out evolves into an adventure full of unanticipated twists and turns. We'll follow Karina's antics as she tests the patience of the police officers and leaves an indelible mark on one young cop's day. But keep in mind that there is a serious message hidden beneath the humor. We'll uncover the charges Karina faces and why driving under the influence is no laughing matter. So, buckle up, because this is a story you won't want to miss. Let's dive in. On July 1st, 2023, here is Karina Armando, age 20. She was taken into custody for a DUI as she was leaving a neighboring Irish pub. She most certainly did not make her parents happy that evening, but she did make this policeman blushing. Around 2.5 hours after sunrise, Officer Green Dyke of the Montville Township Police Department noticed a 2009 Dodge Caliber steering and traveling in an almost serpentine pattern. He kept going after the car, but before he could stop it, Karina, the driver, came to a voluntary stop by herself.
Hi! The reason I'm stopping you, well, I didn't stop you. Why did you stop? Let me ask you that.
Because I've been doing this a lot. Play drama. If you can
Okay.
understand. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, where are you coming from right now?
I'm just coming from Thatcher's.
From Thatcher's?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So you came straight from Thatcher's?
Yeah.
Okay.
The conversation between Karina and the police officer started with a friendly greeting. However, it took an unexpected turn when the officer jokingly questioned, "Why did you stop? Let me ask you that." Karina replied, "Because I play drama." When asked where she was coming from, Karina said, "From Thatcher's," to which the officer simply responded, "Okay," and continued analyzing the situation. Karina confessed to visiting a pub, prompting the officer to swiftly administer a sobriety test. She had trouble getting out of the car, which made the test seem unnecessary.
They say the alphabet from the letter E to the letter P for me without saying it. E through P.
The officer requested her to say the alphabets from the letter E to the letter P without actually pronouncing the letters, specifically from E through P. The alphabet test involves reciting the alphabet while being physically calm in order to evaluate multitasking skills. Karina failed the test as expected because the officer let her move around due to her evident intoxication. Karina was questioned by the police over her choice to stop and pull into a parking space. Karina responded by saying she had stopped because she wanted to follow them. The officer clarified that they hadn't pulled her over, but rather, she had stopped on her own. Karina continued, emphasizing the nearby carnival festivities and expressing her gratitude for the police officer's actions.
Why did you just pull into here and stop then?
Because you guys are here. And I just
Oh.
want to follow what
Okay.
the cops are telling
Gotcha.
me to do.
Okay. Oh, I was just driving behind you, and all of a sudden you just pulled over and stopped. I didn't pull you over. You stopped.
Well,
Okay.
honestly, the carnival stuff, I know a lot is going on. Like, you guys have done a lot. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay.
The policeman thanked her and said, "Oh, you're welcome," in a courteous manner. Despite this, the officers had to perform several field sobriety tests before considering making an arrest, according to policy.
Pivot using a series of small steps and take 9 steps back, okay? While you're doing that, I want you to count each step. I want you to look down at your feet and you're going to do the test in one continuous sequence. Okay, and we're not going to vape on that right now.
Oh.
You understand?
One,
I'm
two.
Hold on. Hey, relax. Back up over there, and begin.
1,000.
Alright, so right now it's not good and you're under arrest. Alright, for driving while intoxicated. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court. Alright? You have the right to stop questioning any time. You have the right to have an attorney present during questioning. If you can't afford an attorney, won't be appointed for you. You understand those rights?
The officer told Karina to take 9 steps backward, while counting each one, and pivot by taking a series of short steps. They underlined that the test should be carried out in a single, fluid motion, while counting and paying close attention to her feet. The officer then explained that vaping would not be permitted at this time. After giving the instructions, the officer began to read Karina her rights, stating that she was under arrest. They informed her of her right to remain silent, the potential use of her statements in court, and her right to an attorney. Karina nodded every time the officer asked if she understood these rights. Karina asked for the keys to her car and said she wanted to put on her shoes. Although she asked to drive her car, the police refused, giving her the assurance that these issues would be handled. Instead, they advised her to take a seat in the car and told her that they would tow her car. Karina acknowledged her request with an apology.
Karina, we just got to take some pictures. There's this gray background on the wall over here. So we're going to go over here. We're going to take 3 pictures. You're just going to... Yep, I'm going to have to do that every time. Like you said before, it's procedure. So I just got to do this every time, all right? I don't think you're going to fight me or anything like that, but it's what we got to do.
Hell no.
All right.
I'm not going to.
So if you make your way over that gray background, and if you face just forward at that gray blob over there, or black blob, that's a camera. And we'll just tell you if we need you to adjust at all. So if you go ahead and look straight on at it for me until we get you to do the next one, that'd be good.
All right. Turn to face the door.
You face the door just the direction I'm facing, 90 degrees.
Karina was spoken to by the police, who explained the necessity of taking pictures against a gray wall. She was reassured that it was a routine thing, as he highlighted that it was standard procedure. He asked her to participate and told her to stand in front of the camera with a gray background, saying he would help her if she needed to make any adjustments. He directed her to turn and face various ways as the process went on to ensure that several viewpoints were recorded. Karina inquired if this was all that was required, to which the officer confirmed and asked her to take a seat.
Don't cuff me back. My voice.
All right. This hand or this hand? Okay.
One that's not struggling.
All right. Here, I don't want to get it on your jewelry there. All right.
When Karina joked that she didn't want to get handcuffed again, the officer asked which hand she wanted, so it wouldn't get in the way of her jewelry or outfit.
Do you understand these rights which I have just read?
When the officer asked Karina if she understood the rights that had been read to her, she simply replied, yes. The officer expressed appreciation for her understanding and acknowledged it. Karina then inquired in a provoking manner about the officer's marital status, to which he replied, I am. Karina made a humorous remark about the officer's wife, stating, she's lucky. Playfully, the officer replied, my wife will appreciate that actually. The officer then went on to go over Karina's rights and the procedure for taking a breath sample, adding that if she refused, she would also face penalties for the DUI.
Pete, the law requires you to submit samples of your breath for testing. Will you submit the samples of your breath?
No.
No?
No.
Your answer is not acceptable. The law requires that you submit samples of your breath for breath testing. If you do not answer, or answer with anything other than yes, I will charge you with refusal.
Yeah. That's okay.
Now I ask you again, will you submit the breath testing?
No.
Karina responded no, when the police asked if she would be willing to give breath samples for testing. The officer emphasized that a yes response was required by law and issued a warning that a refusal charge would ensue from any other response. At first, Karina gave a non-committal, "Yeah, that's okay." But when asked further, she strongly said, "No." Karina aggressively refused to give a breath sample, appearing more concerned with keeping close eye contact with the police than staying out of jail. Not only did she decline the breath test, but she also refused to cooperate with the standardized questionnaire. Because she would be released until her first court appearance, the cops agreed to allow her to call her father, who would pick her up.
So, Karina, you'd refuse to answer any of these questions that I have to ask you?
You didn't ask nicely.
I thought I asked nicely.
I'm fucking with you.
But,
I'm fucking with you. I'm over it.
okay, so you'd refuse to answer any of these
I
questions?
want my dad to pick me up, and I'm gonna go home.
Okay.
Which is pretty reasonable.
Well, in the grand scheme of things.
Yes. For my dad to pick me up and me to go home.
Karina said, "You didn't ask nicely," in response to the officer's question about whether she meant to conceal her responses. The officer expressed that they believed they had asked nicely, and Karina clarified that she was just teasing. The officer proceeded, asking if she would continue to refuse to answer the questions, and Karina redirected the conversation, stating her desire for her father to pick her up so she could go home, considering it a reasonable request. The policeman nodded in agreement and said, "Okay," to which Karina responded, "Yes, for my dad to pick me up so that I can go home tonight." Karina's mood improved when she realized she would be returning home. She then cracked a few jokes, one of which gave a young policeman a moment of blushing that he would remember for some time.
All right, hang tight a second. It's another tricky door. You just take a second. All right.
I'm going up the stairs to your right.
On them.
Are you going to be okay getting up the stairs? I'm not busting your
Yeah.
chops.
Fuck it.
Feel free to use the handrail.
America.
Just take it slower right here. I fall up these stairs.
My pronouns are USA.
Not bad. Not bad. All right, so we just have to get a signature from your dad before
Yes.
we can let you out, okay?
When Karina understood she would be returning home, her mood improved. She joked around with the officer as he led her up the stairs and through the station's entrance. Karina jokingly said, "My pronouns are USA," which caused the officer to laugh.
All I gotta say is love is classy.
Yeah.
You know?
We try. So I'm going to explain the tickets to you real quick.
Oh.
Officer Greendeck will do the same too, but
Don't even bother. I'm gonna cry about them later.
let me just explain them to
I
you real
will
quick.
cry about them later.
There's two
No.
tickets there because there's a court date, so I have to tell you.
Hey, motherfucker, I know you.
Inside, the officer attempted to explain some paperwork, but Karina waved it off, joking that she'd cry about it later. She recognized the officer from previous encounters and playfully commented on it. Karina insisted on remaining ignorant, despite the officer's good-natured attempt to explain the tickets to her.
Yes. So you're going to have a court date on July 11th.
My dad's gonna fucking kill me. July 11th.
July 11th at 1:30.
I'm
And that's,
gonna be in Nashville.
well, you're going to have to talk to the court.
All right. Step back for me. We're not going out just yet. Give me a couple minutes.
Is my dad out there?
He is, yeah.
He is. He's
Yeah!
yes. So he's got to make a copy of the forms, though.
I'm gonna be in Nashville.
All right. Well, you will have to call our court administrator, though, to talk to her about that.
Say what?
The police suggested a court date for July 11th while they were waiting for her father, which worried Karina. When a second officer asked her to take a minute to step aside, she spoke about her concerns regarding the court date and her dad's location. The officer advised her to contact the court administrator for further information, emphasizing the importance of attending court due to her arrest.
Well, she might be able to rearrange things. She might not. So this is important because you were arrested. You do have to go to court, okay?
It turned out to be a surprisingly humorous encounter in the end. Despite the situation, Karina was able to make the young police officer laugh. It's crucial to keep in mind that Karina was charged with significant offenses like driving while intoxicated, refusing to submit to a breathalyzer test, reckless driving, careless driving, and failure to maintain her lane. Even though we focused on the humorous parts of this exchange, drunk driving is a serious offense that needs to receive serious attention. Karina was too drunk to drive and shouldn't have been. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to watch our next video on the channel or to subscribe, like, and leave a comment.